Dear students, so this is the last lecture for aliphatic amines, and aliphatic amines, this lecture you have to learn about the chemical properties. So chemical property of amines are depend on two things: basic character of amines and reactivity of hydrogen atoms. Uh, so first one is formations of salt with mineral acid. As you know that due to the lone pair of electron on nitrogen atom, amines are always act as a base. So whenever you are doing reaction with acid, and as you know that if acid is react with base, it always form salt plus some water. So here this is a base, and this is your acid, so it always forms some kind of salt. So suppose if I have a primary amine and if I am doing reactions with hydrochloric acids, I will get hydrochloride salt. Suppose if I have a methyl amine and if I am doing reaction with HCl, I will get methyl ammonium chloride. Similar for secondary amine also, you will get some kind of salts. Similar with tertiary amine also, and from tertiary amine you can produce a trialkyl ammonium chloride. So amine salt are generally well-defined crystalline substance, and they have a very sharp melting point. So that's why the identifications of amine is very easy, and these are highly soluble in water. So with reverse reactions, you can get back your amine also. Means the amines are the salt of hydrochloric acid. So if I am adding NaOH, strong base, into this salt solutions, so I will get my particular amine back. So this is my primary amine salt, and if I am adding NaOH into it, so I will get primary amine. So how I got the idea, because if you are observing here, this nitrogen is attached with only one alkyl group, so that's why I got the idea this is my primary amine salt. Okay, and this is the one of the best method to purifying amine from non-basic contaminants. Second is the alkylations reactions. So as we know that the due to the lone pair of electron, nitrogen act as a strong nucleophile, and if I am doing reactions of primary amine with alkyl halide, I will get dialkyl ammonium cation, and for this I need some basic media, so I used ammonia. So that's why this ammonia further react with this my dialkyl ammonium cation and produce the secondary amine. Okay, so this is the one of the method to prepare the secondary amine, and similar, this is the reaction, net reaction. So suppose if I have primary amine, if I am doing reaction with alkyl halide, so simply we can say this H is you have to remove, and this R you can directly attach here, so you will get your primary amine. Secondary amine undergo similar reactions to produce the tertiary amine, and if your tertiary amine finally react with third molecules of alkyl halide to produce the tetra alkyl ammonium salt. So these things already we had discussed, like if I have a number of mole of alkyl halide is more than my amine, so the reactions always occur in forward directions, and I will get a mixture of amine. So mixture of amine. So primary amine will need 3 molecules of alkyl halide per molecule of amine. For secondary amine 2 molecules, and for tertiary amine only 1 molecule to form final tetra alkyl methyl ammonium salt. So if I want this is the if I want to prepare this, so from this I can prepare this with this number of mole of halide. So means if I have a number of mole of halide in my reaction, then there may be a probability of formation of mixture of amine. So the best way is, if I need only primary amine, I will take the concentration of primary amine higher, and little bit less concentrations on number of mole of alkyl halide, then and then I will stop my reactions. Okay. So these things even I will get the idea from experiment, like how many number of moles of my alkyl halide used, and from this I will get idea about whether my amine is a primary, secondary or tertiary, or it may be tetraalkyl salt. So alkylation of primary and secondary amine under the regulated conditions provide industrial method for the preparations of secondary, tertiary amine respectively. The third one is my acylation. For acylations, I need acyl chloride or carboxylic anhydride, and the reaction is simple. The hydrogen atom which is attached to this nitrogen will remove or detach from here, and this COOR group, it will attach to here, and HCl will form as a byproduct. And by the process I will get either N-alkyl amide or NN dialkyl amide. With tertiary there is a no hydrogen reaction, no hydrogen, so that's why with tertiary no reactions. Okay. So by this process of acylation, the primary amine produce N substituted amide, while the secondary amine yields NN disubstituted amide, and tertiary amine having a no available hydrogen on nitrogen and does not react at all either with acyl halide or carboxylic anhydrides. This is the reaction, like suppose ethylamine, if I have acyl chloride, so I will get N-ethyl acetamide. Okay. Then suppose if I have a secondary amine, and if I am doing so, this HCl will replace, so I will get NN diethyl acetamide. And similar, like if I have a triethylamine, so my reactions will not occur. Suppose same thing, if I have some kind of anhydride, so I can break the bond from here, and then COCH3 will attach here, and this H is attached here and form the acetic acid. Similarly, from this, if I have a hydrogen, this will attach here, I will get acetic acid. So this we had already discussed, like in these reactions we can get a byproduct, either HCl acid or acetic acid, and the tertiary amine, which is most often used as a acid scavenger, is aromatic, is the aromatic base pyridine. So you can do reactions and you can produce the pyridinium hydrochloride salt. And in Scholten-Baumann procedure of acylation of amine, the mixture of amine in cold base like NaOH or sodium bicarbonate is taken together, and the aqueous solutions of act as a scavenger for HX production. Sulfonylation. So sulfonylations chloride are acid chloride to produce by reaction with phosphorus pentachloride or thionyl chloride. So like SO2Cl, you can produce sulfonyl chloride. So these both are the chlorinating agent. So you have to replace this. They react with amine in manner similar to like acyl chloride, so like that we have seen RC11OCl. So here SO2 is there instead of C double bond O. So the benzene sulfonyl chloride react with primary and secondary amine to form N-alkyl and NN dialkyl sulfonamide. So this is the reactions. So if I have primary amine and SO2Cl, so simply I have to remove like HCl, and this is my product. And if I have a secondary amine, similarly I can remove HCl and I will get my product. For tertiary amine, there is no hydrogen, so my reactions will not occur. So most of the sulfonamide are crystalline solid, and their preparations and determination of melting point is used for the identifications of primary and secondary. So the reaction with nitrous acid. So nitrous acid is an unstable compound, and it produced by the reaction between sodium nitrate and HCl. So you will get nitrous acid, and you can detect primary, secondary, and tertiary amine with this reaction. So for primary amine, if you are doing reaction with this nitrous acid, it will produce the corresponding, or I can say primary alcohol. And and the reaction is not simple. So suppose if I have like a propylamine, if I am doing reaction with nitrous chloride, there may be a possibility of multiple product like normal propanol or isopropanol or propene or propyl chloride, because we are using here HCl, or 2-propyl chloride. Like this you are getting a multiple product. So that's why this reaction is not simple, it requires some kind of special. And how this will occur, so this is the steps. Like if I have a like propyl cation, carbocation, so because in my reactions I have HCl, so if abstractions of H is there, okay, so this double bond will form. And if I am adding water molecule, so there may be a possibility of formations of alcohol, because in reactions I have HCl plus ion also, Cl minus this one, so it may be at HCl and form this kind of compound. So there may be a various possibility for formation of. However, if it react with secondary amine and produce some kind of yellow oil, and it is known as nitrosoamine. Okay, so that's why this is a very key test for determining or whether you have primary, secondary, or tertiary amine. Okay, so this reaction is known as Lieberman-Nitroso reaction and used to test for the secondary amine. So nitrosamines are also poisonous and are considered to be cancer-causing agent. So in some of the food, sodium nitrate is used as a preservative, and it in the stomach it combines with hydrochloric acid and produce nitrous acid. So due to this carcinogen behavior, nowadays nobody is using sodium nitrate as a preservative, and this can react with secondary amine present in food and form dangerous nitrosamine, and intake of sodium nitrate in any form should be avoided. For tertiary amine, there is no hydrogen available, so the replacement is not possible, and this simple form some kind of salt which is soluble in water. The tertiary amine can be regenerated from salt solution by adding alkali, because this is a salt. If I am adding some kind of strong base, I will get my product reactant back. So it is used to distinguish whether you have a primary, secondary, or tertiary amine. So if this nitroso react with the primary amine, it produces some kind of carbocation and the removal of nitrogen gas. So from nitrogen gas, removal of nitrogen gas, you will get idea you have primary amine. For secondary amine, it is insoluble and yellow or oily color layer. So you can say your initial reactant is secondary and it produced nitrosamine, and for tertiary amine it again produce some kind of soluble salt. So from this you will reaction with aldehyde and ketone. So primary amines can easily react with the carbonyl group in carbonyl group of aldehyde and ketone to form alpha hydroxamine, which is called carbinol amines. Okay, so as we have already seen, whenever we are doing reactions of aldehyde or ketone with amines, we will get some kind of Schiff base, and I had already let you know what is Schiff base. So Schiff base is nothing but there is a bond between C double bond N, and this N is directly attached with some kind of alkyl group. So that's why this is known as Schiff base, and for these reactions I need some acid catalyst. So in secondary amine, if I am doing reactions with a ketone and it contains suppose alpha hydrogen atom, then there may be a possibility of this kind of intermediate step, and you can easily remove these water molecules, and once it will remove from your reactions, you will get enamines, and this is the one of the important intermediate in a industry. And suppose if you are tertiary amines, and because as you know that there is no hydrogen and on nitrogen, so that's why it does not react with aldehyde. And so reaction with carbon sulfide, so it's very easy during if you are doing reaction with carbon sulfide in presence of mercury chloride, it will produce like isocyanate or mustard oil. So the isocyanate does produce as a pungent or mustard-like odor, which can be easily recognized. Hence, the reaction is used as a taste for primary amines. So similarly, you can do reactions with secondary amine also, and you will get dithiocarbamic acid. And if you are doing further reaction with mercury chloride, you will not obtain anything. Whereas for tertiary amine, there is no nitrogen for replaceable, so that's why the reactions does not occur. So halogenations. So primary and secondary amine easily react with hypochlorous acid in presence of base. Okay, so you will get N-chloramine, and this reaction we had already seen. So suppose if I have primary amine and I have a hypochlorous acid, so this water molecules like remove, or you can remove OH minus, and this Cl is directly attached here, so you will get N-chloramine. And again, if I have a more number of molecules of this hypochlorous acids, I will get I will get NN dichloroamine. Similarly, because here I have in primary amine I have a 2 hydrogens, so that's why the reactions for you will get NN diamine and then dichloroamine as a product. Suppose if I have only secondary amine, and in this I have only one hydrogen. Okay, so I will get only N-chloramine as a product. For tertiary amine, anything. Similar reaction with Grignard reagent. So in Grignard reagent, as you know, that RMGX, and you have to do reaction in presence of ether. Okay, so this will remove RNH, MGX will remove, and you will get your alkene. Similarly, if you have secondary amine, you will get your alkene. Okay, but suppose if I have tertiary amine, it does not react, since they do not contain replaceable hydrogen atom. Carbylamine test is one of the key tests to identifications of primary amine. These reactions will occur only with primary amine. Okay, so for these reactions, it requires like your primary amine react with chloroform and KOH, so you will get isocyanamide, and the isocyanamide or carbylamine produces extremely unpleasant odor. Hence, it is sometimes it is known as carbylamine reactions, and it is one of the key tests for primary amine, because secondary and tertiary amine does not they do not respond this test. Then oxidations, as you know that addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen is known as oxidation. So here I have to add the oxygen, or simply I have to do reaction in presence of oxygen. So for these oxidations you require like KMnO4 or sodium dichromate, like this material is needed. So for these, if I am doing reactions for primary amine, if I am doing oxidations for my primary amine, I will get aldimine, and if I am doing hydrolysis, I will get aldehyde. Suppose if I have a secondary amine, same reactions, but the product is my ketone. Suppose if I have a tertiary amine, then instead of it's simple, like I will get a nitroalkane. So secondary amine on oxidations with KMnO4 gives tetraalkyl hydrazine, while with peroxide or per acid they yield dialkyl hydroxyl amine. Similar tertiary amine from amine oxide when oxidized with peroxide or per acid. So this is the term tertiary amine. You are getting amine oxide, and that particular amine oxide like this salt.